guys, so today we're going to be doing kind of a more serious video. I might get a little vulnerable here, but basically I'm going to tell you about my different experiences in therapy. I've had 3 different kinds, I guess you could say. I'm going to kind of compare and contrast, talk about my favorite methods that I've personally experienced, and just stuff like that. So yeah, this is a sponsored video. I want to be very transparent with you guys about that. However, just because it's a sponsored video, I mean, I'm so grateful that I found this company and this company reached out to me, and I can't even thank them enough. And the fact that they want to sponsor a video is probably my favorite sponsorship I've ever done, because it's honestly changed my life. But let's talk about that company, shall we? So the company is BetterHelp, which is an online counseling website where you can get more affordable counseling. It's more discreet if you are worried about the stigma in any way, shape, or form, which obviously, even though we shouldn't be, unfortunately that does exist. So it is more discreet. You don't even have to leave your house, and you do get paired up with a licensed therapist within 24 hours of signing up for the site. So I'll tell you a little bit more about how it works. When you sign up for the site, it'll go through a questionnaire and it'll ask you things about, you know, your age, that kind of stuff, all the basic information and what you are seeking help for and what you want to discuss basically with your counselor. Afterwards, like I said, within 24 hours you're paired with a therapist, and if you find for any reason that that therapist is just not going to work with you or work for you, you can change it without any questions. Also, you can, what I love is you can choose the specifications of your therapist if you want them to be LGBTQ friendly, religious, non-religious, things like that. And my favorite part about this is it is unlimited. You can schedule however many counseling appointments that your therapist has available in that week that you pay for. It can be as low as $35 a week. I personally am paying $65 a week for my current plan, and it's unlimited counseling. So although it sounds like a lot, it is so much more affordable when you look at the big picture of how much therapy in real life actually costs. For me personally, because of my insurance, my copays would be extremely high, and I would be paying way more doing traditional therapy in person in an office than I am paying right now with BetterHelp. So it's absolutely amazing, especially if you are unsure of where to start, if you don't know how to reach out for help. I think we're all pretty comfortable on the internet, and especially in this generation, and it's so much easier to reach out for help when you're just typing something, or you know, when you can be discreet about it, you know? If you're wondering about the different types of counseling that you can receive, it can be through chat, which is what I do personally, and I'll get into why and what I like about it. You can do Skype or like video calls or phone calls as well. Of course, I will have the link to BetterHelp down below in the description. I highly, highly recommend checking it out. There's more information on the site, and it's just an amazing resource, I think, for a lot of people, and I'm paying for it out of my own pocket. Yes, this is a sponsored video, but I'm continuing my treatment because I love it so much, and I will continue to update you guys on my experience with it. I want to talk to you about the different kinds of therapy that I've personally experienced, and, you know, just kind of share some information. So the first time I ever went to therapy was at my school. So Sac State is a school that I went to. They have a program kind of thing where you get up to 10 sessions for free in the health center. So I utilized, I think, 7 or 8 of the sessions, and the counselor I was working with basically was a graduate student. So they weren't technically licensed, but they were working underneath a licensed therapist. So they would have to take my information in our sessions and report them back to her advisor. So this one I thought was good. It definitely was very difficult. I know I preach all the time about therapy and like, go to therapy if you need help, reach out for help. It's not always that easy, even for me. I have the inability to cry in front of other people, and a lot of my issues are very like deep rooted, and I need to cry when I talk about them. It's gotten to the point where I can't speak about them without crying. So for me, in-person therapy just became not ideal for me. So this graduate student, she was very helpful. She's very good. I think she's going to be a great therapist, and I'm so grateful. She gave me a little bit of cognitive behavioral techniques to do, which I think I like a lot because it's physical. It's like homework. They give you like an assignment. So it'll be like, write a letter and then burn it, or create a box of things that bring comfort to you, stuff like that. But so she, you know, kind of used some of that, and whenever I go into a therapy experience, I do tell them that I'm a psych student. At that time I was a psych student. My therapist now knows that I graduated from psychology, so I already have like a little bit of background on the different techniques of therapy. It's not really that relevant because I'm going to them for help. They probably don't care what I know because they're trying to help me with my issues, not educate me on how I can be a counselor, you know what I mean? Anyway, I liked her. I realized what my problem is after I did the second round of therapy that I did. So eventually I went online, I found a therapist. It was just the first one really that came up. I went to her a handful of times, how many? Maybe 10. And that one was a little bit more difficult and a little less helpful. I really hope she never sees this video. I mean, it's nothing personal against her. It just, I liked her a lot. We clicked very well. We had so much in common. She was honestly like, she's like the 60-year-old version of me, okay? But because of that, we would go on so many tangents about our similarities. She would tell a lot of stories about herself. And our sessions were only 50 minutes. And so I felt a little, you know, I couldn't open up a lot because our sessions were so short. And then part of that time she would talk about herself. And I don't want this to like come across in a bad way, but like I feel like as a therapist, you shouldn't do that. And then another red flag that I had with her was basically I would tell her about my phobias of driving and dental and kind of want to talk about it a little bit because I still have those fears within me, and she would tell me that she can't help me with those because she has them as well. I don't know if that's like a thing that counselors can do. I mean, I don't want it to be triggering for her by any means if I'm not going to go into detail about describing my dental appointments. Like, I don't know what she thought I was going to say. So I can respect her for saying like, that's outside my expertise, I guess, because I have problems with that myself. She's very self-aware of that, which is good, but I did feel a little strange about it because it's like, well, if I can't tell you everything wrong with me and everything that I want to talk about, it's probably not a good fit. I ended up not going back to her anymore because my insurance ran up. So I don't know where I'd be. I'm the kind of person where I would feel awkward asking to stop seeing her or being like, can you refer me to someone else? You know, I just feel uncomfortable with that kind of thing. So with BetterHelp, because if you are matched with someone and you have that kind of, it's just not a right fit because it takes a while to find the counselor for you, like that's going to really work for you. And with BetterHelp, it's really easy to change counselors because it's, you know, you just change them. It's online, you say change counselor, and they find you a new one. So it's not anything face-to-face, you don't have to tell them, like, it's not working for me, can I have someone else? So I started using BetterHelp, I think, a month and a half ago, I don't remember. I've had about 5 sessions with my counselor, and I actually kept emailing the brand, and I was like, you know, they gave me a 7-day free trial, and they wanted me to kind of do a video afterwards, but I told them, I'd like some more time. I'd really like to try it out a lot more, have multiple more sessions so I can really give my honest feedback and make sure, because it's something so serious to me and like therapy is so important, I wanted to make sure that I had enough sessions to really feel out the site and, you know, understand it a little bit better. And they were totally fine with it. They were so easy to work with. I loved working with them in general. And then I was paired with my therapist who, she understands me so well. I've only we've only had live sessions like 5 times, and everything I'm thinking and I'll say to her, she comes back with this. I take pictures of our conversations sometimes with my phone. I'll be like, oh, okay, and I take a picture of what she's saying to me because it just like, it's so good. So I can definitely vouch for the quality of therapists that are on BetterHelp. It's amazing. And I realized when I started doing this, that is what was the problem, was in person, I could tell the counselors things. I'm an open book, so I could tell them everything that was wrong or what I was feeling, but there was no emotion in it at all. I wasn't facing my emotions. It was very surface level. It was almost as if a friend was telling them about my life and it wasn't me. And so I decided, I even told my therapist that I was like, I decided why it didn't work for me before is because I was closed off. I had walls built because I didn't want to cry in front of them. And I don't know why I have that issue. I'm very open with everything. So, you know, even with my friends, like I just don't cry in front of people. I just can't do it. So I told her, I want this time, I'm going to bring all my emotions out. I'm going to, you know, say everything that I'm thinking and just pile it on her, basically. I'm just like, I'm gonna be crying a lot, even though she doesn't know. But usually when I am crying, I will tell her, or if I feel like I'm on the verge of a panic attack, I will tell her, and she, amazing. So you have a chat room that you can send unlimited messages to your counselor. So you could be like, you could just say whatever and then send it, and then they would just get to it when they get to it. You also have the option to mark it as urgent if you want to. And then when you schedule sessions with them, it's basically a dedicated chunk of time, and then they will start the session when the time comes, and it's basically a like real-time chat room. You can delete your stuff, but they see everything as you're typing it. So that can be kind of nerve-wracking because it's not like a chat room where you can edit a paragraph and send it. But I think it's faster and more, it's just easier, and it's better for them to be able to see what you're typing as you're typing it. And I find it so effective. I had my doubts, I'm not gonna lie, with the chat sessions, because I was like, how do you like open up through a chat room? Like how do you, I mean, I know it's possible, but like how do you have a therapy, like true therapy session in a chat room? And then the first couple times I was like, I believe in it now. I've had a couple sessions that left me exhausted. I had cried for an hour straight. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, is going through this therapy that I'm going through right now. And that's how I know it's effective, and how I know it's working is when I leave exhausted, emotionally, physically, crying my eyes out, but it feels so amazing afterwards because I know I'm really pushing through, and hearing my therapist's comments help so much. She's not one of my pet peeves with therapists is when they just sit there and listen to you without saying anything. I know it's like a stereotype and kind of a trope, but my old therapist was kind of like that. She'd either just say uh-huh or agree, or she'd say like it would lead into a story about herself. But what I want to hear is something that's going to help me in that moment. So that's why I'm very honest with my counselor. I tell her how I'm feeling, how my anxiety levels are, depression, anything like that. Also, I let her know when I'm crying, like when I'm bawling my eyes out. So she knows everything that's happening in the moment, and so she can form the best response for me, if that makes sense. In the past like 5 sessions I've had with her, I have worked through so many issues, like more than my other 2 experiences combined. I think it's easier, you guys can probably relate, I think it's easier to open up to someone online when it's not in person. You don't have to verbally say anything, which sounds like it wouldn't work for therapy, but it does. Like it just does, because it's something that you don't have to speak, and you know, you could be crying so hard and still work through it and still be typing, you know? If you're worried about talking to a stranger, you know, in person and having to tell them like everything, I get it, like I feel it. And I think this is a good resource for you because it's just easier when it's online, you know, it's just easier to type it than it is to say it. And I love that I don't have to leave my house to go to my therapy appointment. Anyway, I think that's all I can really say. If you have any questions for me about my past experiences with therapy or my current experience, leave it down below. And any questions you have about BetterHelp, I'd love to answer for you guys down below. Anything I think I forgot, I'll put in the description, however. But definitely check it out if you're considering therapy, or if you feel like you need help. I think this is an amazing option. Let me know down below in the comments if you have ever gone to therapy and what your experience was like, what style was it, and what you liked and didn't like about it. Because remember, this is a safe space for everyone, and I think it'd be good to share all of our experiences, not just mine, so we can all learn from each other's experiences. So leave that down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.